I'm about to begin shortly.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good afternoon.
afternoon. Hold on. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure everybody in here has heard of Kenneka's case. Tania, what's your thoughts on it?
I honestly can't say I followed it thoroughly. I have somewhat of an idea of what happened, but I don't think I followed the full thing. I just know she was with her friends and she somehow got, left locked into like a freezer. I guess she was at a hotel or something. But they was having some type of party, I guess, at a room and somehow she wound up being in there. But that's all I really remember from it.
Okay, baby, what's your thoughts on it?
This case started my career as a detective. I stayed up for weeks. I was rewinding and fast forwarding and putting videos in slow motion looking for cues. I was in all type of Facebook help solve Kenneka Jenkins unaliving groups. If ever I were obsessed with a case, it was this one. So I'm nervous about today's case analysis because it's going to bring back those old memories.
Go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Um, I was thinking that her friends set her up, or the employees had some. I don't know. I don't know, but we shall find out.
Ms. Adventures, what's your thoughts on it?
I went back and forth with myself so much on this case with theories and what could have happened. I think I had overwhelmed myself. Um, it was so, I don't know, it kind of hit close to home to me because of the peculiar situation, like just out how a night of out drinking with your friends and someone might overdo it, and how everything just went on and their friend is missing because she's either intoxicated on whatever level that she was on. I don't know, that it was a sensitive subject for me because I just couldn't see that happening on my watch with a friend, and I wouldn't want it to happen to me as well.
This is my opening question right here. Who would you say was wrong in this situation? Tania?
Her friends. Um, like I said, I don't know. I don't even know the level of, intoxication she was at. But regardless,
We're about to
I
get
just
into
know
that.
how I move as a friend, sober or drunk. You're not going nowhere by yourself. If you around me, I just feel like it should be come one, come off. We go here together, we leave together. It's just nowhere my friend is just wandering out by herself and just wandering up in a situation like this. Or locked in the freezer by herself. Like I don't really understand it. From my perspective, the type of person I am. I feel like she should have had better friends around her because clearly they didn't care.
Go ahead, Q.
I'm conflicted because I'm a proponent. I agree with what Tania is saying. When you go out with your friends, you should go together, you should leave together, joint bathroom trips and such. But on the flip side, I'm not a heavy drinker, but I've been out with people who are. And there is no worse feeling than having to babysit a grown adult. It takes away from your experience. You can't enjoy yourself because your friend is sloppy drunk and now you have to babysit all night. So I really think accountability is key, and some of it will fall on the part of everybody involved, Kanika included. I don't know if somebody slipped her Mickey. I have my suspicions about that. But to wander off, that's problematic. You got to learn how to control whatever substance you're putting in your body. And if you know you can't control yourself, then it's okay to say no and miss out.
Miss Cushell.
You baby, you took the words right out of my mouth. Um, I really do believe that. I think it was own. Um, I think she's to blame of her own demise, but yet and still, it was her friends as well. And when you said um, somebody probably slipped her a Mickey, I was thinking the same thing. This whole story did not add up to nothing. I mean, it was like roadblocks after roadblocks after roadblocks. So,
Miss Adventures, who's to blame?
I promise you, Q baby, it took the words out of my mouth. Like, although her friends weren't, I don't know, I guess paying attention to her, but I don't know how much blame I can put on them because I don't know what their level of intoxication was. They probably wouldn't of sound mind, body to make sure they could follow her around or keep up with her. But at some point, we have to take accountability. Um, oh, excuse me. That this specific story made me be more mindful of my alcohol intake to make sure that I am mindful and can see what's going on around me and make decisions that won't put me in certain situations. So I would have to say it's the friends and Kanika, like it's a little bit of accountability for both parties to wear.
Miss Mount, who would you say is to blame in this situation?
Hi everyone. I would have to agree that it was a little bit of blame for the friend and Kanika taking responsibility, of her own actions and lives. I went down a rabbit hole following this. This story just kind of haunted me. Um, of how many twists and turns and everything that happened to her, but I really do believe that she maybe entrusted some people, and that's where she went wrong, but yeah, I think there's enough blame to go around for the friends and for her taking accountability of her life.
I'm gonna circle back because, like I said, I followed the story, but not thoroughly through. So I never really got the clarification on, was she drunk or whatever. But if that was the case, then of course, I mean, it's everybody, both parties. But I myself always, drink responsibly when I'm out. I have to know what's going on. I don't overdo it because I don't want to put that off on my friends. But it just seems like we just see these situations a lot, and most of the time, it don't even be the person being drunk. It's just they could be simply going on the trip, and something just wind up happening to that one friend out the group, and it's just like so many questions of how did it get to this point. If you are there together, how did this person wind somewhere by themselves and y'all don't know nothing?
But also too, I blame the person, the people, or the person that s- set her up. I blame them as well.
Well, before we get into a setup, I think, in my opinion, I agree with you, Q Baby, and Mr. Ventures. I agree with y'all too, but I also feel like the hotel is partially to blame as well. Because if y'all have camera footage of her wandering that hotel, that means y'all saw her wandering that hotel. Where were the security guards that were up supposed to be watching the cameras? What was the front desk attendant that was supposed to be watching the cameras? There is no way she should have been able to wander that hotel with a bunch of children and nobody approached them like, okay, y'all got to bring it back in the room. Okay, well, ma'am, where you going? Or like, there is no way she got from the floor that she was on with them downstairs to the basement to the freezer. That doesn't make sense. That part for me is just not something in that Kool-Aid ain't sweet. But then, however, one of those girls that last seen Kenneka going down that hallway, she just recently passed away. Just recently. So she's the second person, well, the first person after Kenneka's situation to pass away from that group. One of Kenneka's friends. So I don't listen. Well, this is why I do my case analysis every day, so we can be the court of public opinion and share what our thoughts are. So let me break the whole case down to you, and we gonna go from there. So who was Kenneka Jenkins? Her full name was Kenneka LaShawn Jenkins. She was 19 years old, from Chicago, Illinois. Her personality was described by her family as sweet, shy, and responsible. She worked at a nursing home and had plans for college. She had no history of drug abuse or risky behavior, according to her mother, Teresa Martin. The full timeline of everything that happened to Kenneka. On September 8th, 2017, which was a Friday, 11:30 p.m., Kenneka Jenkins leaves her home in her mother's car to go out with her friends. They tell her mom they're going to celebrate a new job at a movie in a bowling alley. Okay. Instead, the girls go to the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois for a party in room 926, booked under a fraudulent stolen credit card. There were approximately 30 people in attendance at the party. Many were acquaintances from the west side of Chicago, including some known GANG affiliations. On Saturday, September 9th, 1:13 a.m., Kenneka and three friends arrive at the hotel. They are seen on surveillance entering through the lobby. 2 o'clock a.m. This is still September 9th. Facebook Live video posted by Irene Roberts, a friend, shows her wearing reflective glasses in a mirror, with audio in the background suggesting a loud party. Users claim you can hear help me or sounds of distress, sparking long-standing theories. Around 3:20 to 3 between 3:20 and 3:32 a.m., Kenneka is seen staggering along the lower level hotel kitchen areas, visibly intoxicated. She disappears out of frame near a walk-in freezer. 3:30 a.m., friends call Kenneka's phone and search for her in the hotel. They get no response. 4 a.m., friends leave with Kenneka's phone and her mother's car. They still hadn't found Kenneka, though. They later tell Kenneka's mom that they lost track of her and couldn't find her. At 5 a.m., they return to Kenneka's home, and her mother is immediately alarmed. Okay, September 9th, this is daytime of that Saturday now, because that was the night going into morning. Now we going into the daylight hours. September 9th, which was a Saturday, 7:14 a.m. Teresa Martin drives to the hotel herself, Kenneka's mother. Staff claims they can't show her the surveillance footage without a missing persons report. So at 1:15 p.m. that same day, Kenneka's mother files the missing persons report. It was officially filed. Initially, the hotel staff did not assist Kenneka's mother up front again without that report. On that following day, that Sunday, September 10th, Kenneka's body is found. At 12:25 a.m., her body is found in the freezer of an unused kitchen, curled in a fetal position, fully clothed, with some clothing that was disheveled. The temperature in the freezer was 34 degrees Fahrenheit or 1 degree Celsius, freezing. Footage shows her walking alone and staggering through several restricted areas. No footage of anyone leading her to the freezer, entering behind her, or following her. The freezer lacked interior security cameras, but it did have a working safety release mechanism from the inside. Internet sleuths scrutinized her walking patterns, suggesting intoxication or being rugged. Whether audio was edited in Irene's Facebook Live, and her friends' behavior immediately afterwards was kind of questionable to them as well. Her cause of death was hypothermia from cold exposure. The contributing factors, her BAC, which is her blood alcohol content, was 0.112, which is above the legal limit. She was intoxicated. She had a rug in her system called topiramate. Topiramate. That's it. Topiramate. It's a prescription epilepsy migraine medication. Kenneka had no prescription for it though. This rug, when mixed with alcohol, can cause confusion, drowsiness, impaired motor coordination, and increased risk of hypothermia. There were no signs of sexual assault, blunt force trauma, or defensive wounds, but many remained skeptical. So her friends' involvement. Irene Roberts hosted the Facebook Live. She claimed that she didn't notice anything unusual. Monifa Shelton, which is another one of the friends, which was Kenneka's closest friend of the group, she was allegedly with her most of the night and didn't see Kenneka disappear. Shamaya Winder, she was also a part of the group. She helped them look for Kenneka, but left with Kenneka's phone and in her mother's car. That was her only facet to the whole group. There were also unnamed male friends that were there. Several men were present at the party, some of whom were older and allegedly affiliated with GANGs. Social media users didn't let up, okay? They claimed once they reviewed all of the footage that Kenneka had been rugged, assaulted, and moved to the freezer. They felt like Kenneka had been left alone intentionally after an altercation or a cover-up. Everybody felt like Kenneka was set up by her own friends. After the Facebook Live video audio was dissected, a lot of people heard within the video they're doing something to her. But a lot of people argued that Irene wore sunglasses to hide her eye movement, a sign that she was nervous or hiding something. This is where the police response and their criticism come in at. Hotel staff delayed action for over 12 hours, despite her mother's pleas. Cops waited until the next day to search for surveillance footage. Critics say race and class played a role in the lack of urgency. Police defended the delay by stating there was no immediate reason to suspect foul play. A lawsuit was filed in 2018 by Kenneka's mother for $50 million, wrongful death. She filed against the Crown Plaza Hotel, security staff, the hotel restaurant managers, and the allegations that she included in her lawsuit was that there was a lack of surveillance coverage in dangerous areas, improper access to abandoned areas like that freezer that Kenneka was in, failure to act quickly when she told the hotel staff that Kenneka was missing. Failure to close off areas once she was known to be missing. After they reported to the hotel that Kenneka was missing, the hotel went on like nothing happened. The court awarded the mother $10 million in a confidential settlement. The judge sealed parts of the argument and the agreement to protect the privacy of the family. No admission of wrongdoing from the hotel came, but they acknowledged improvements in safety and protocol. Okay, so this case is currently closed. It was officially closed. It was ruled accidental. Despite ongoing public distrust, surveillance footage remains available online, even though it's still heavily debated to this day. Kenneka's mother continues to advocate for better hotel safety laws and justice for Black women. So, with all being said, do you believe Kenneka was truly walked into the freezer? Do you believe that Kenneka truly walked into the freezer on her own? Or is this more than that? Was this a cover up? Tania?
Um, I feel like it could be a little bit of both. She possibly could have wandered off on her own, and somebody else could have possibly played a part in, covering it up. I just find it hard to believe that nobody just knew she was back there, especially breaking it down from, how she went from her room, just wandered off that far to a basement. Like, yeah, I just find it hard to believe. So I feel like it's a little bit of both.
Thank you.
I never believed that she walked into the freezer on her own. I think she was in the vicinity of the freezer because we saw her in the kitchen on the video. But I think whatever happened to her happened before she got to that freezer. I think she was put in the freezer after the fact because, like you said, the hotel waited 12 hours to release said footage. So we don't know what editing and alterations were done. I never believed that that baby walked in there by herself.
But hold on, you're missing the important factor. They said that the medication that she had in her system, Kenneka was drinking this night. Her alcohol content was above the legal limit. She was very well intoxicated. But she also had this medication in her system that Kenneka had no prescription for. That medication mixed with alcohol would have caused her to have the symptoms that we seen on the video footage of her going down the hotel hallway. So it's a lot that could have happened. But how my thing is that freezer has a door, not like a door latch on it. You have to really like apply force to pull the latch and then pull the door.
Exactly.
So
You do it.
that's my thing. So like if she was intoxicated and she did that and she went in there and there was no way out, there's also an emergency latch from the inside of the door. So what happened? The only thing I can see is she went in there wandering, probably confused as to where she was going, and she slipped and probably knocked herself out. And she was on the floor, and because nobody knew where she was at, and she was out cold. And those temperatures was the way that they was. Yeah.
You gotta think about it
No.
too.
And that's just me trying to give like benefit of the doubt.
You gotta think about it too. She's intoxicated. So I'm not saying she didn't try to, find a way out, but you're not really in your right mind. You know what I'm saying? And even if she was where she can push the door and all that, I don't really feel like she probably had enough strength to open it if it was that heavy.
And this freezer was abandoned, by the way. The whole area that Kenneka was in, that she was found in, was abandoned. That hallway that Kenneka was wandering down was an abandoned hallway in the hotel. She wasn't supposed to have no access to that at all. It was supposed to be cut off from the whole hotel. And she ended up down there.
Now let me make this point. So because this area was abandoned, what is the likelihood that that freezer was being kept cold? We have a 12-hour window of not knowing what was happening.
But that doesn't imply that the freezer was not working.
No, it was working, but why was it on? Was it
But
customary to keep it
but
running?
it's in a hotel. It's gonna run. That type of stuff runs constantly. Yeah, that type of stuff runs constantly. That's like beverage machines that you see in the hotel. If they're not using a coffee pot, that don't mean it's not plugged up. It's still plugged up, Coffee could be hours old, but it's still plugged up because that's what hotels give. If we need anything at any given time, we can accommodate whatever's needed. You know what I'm saying? But it should not have been accessible from the beginning, whether it was running or not running. Why was she able to go down that hallway, period? And my thing is if there were, I'm thinking about, okay, in 2025, if you've been to a hotel, you know how hotel security is. You know they monitor what goes on in these hallways and things like that. They can see everything. Kenneka came from the top floor. She came from a floor that was above where she was found to the basement and wandered to a freezer. And nobody saw that. Nobody.
And if an area was abandoned, why wouldn't that be the first place they check?
Hmm.
Let's check the
But
area.
according to the mama, they didn't care.
Right. And that's why I think it was covered up by the hotel.
Go ahead, Miss Chriselle.
I agree with you, baby.
Miss Adventures.
Well, as far as I'm sorry, we covered a lot of stuff in the time. What was the original question?
Do you believe she walked to the freezer on her
Oh,
own?
okay,
Walked
yeah.
to the freezer on her own?
Or
Or
went.
was it a cover up?
Right. Oh, okay. So, me personally, just from experience, I do feel like she walked in there on her own, and I mean, it's sad, but the realness of it is everything that happened is possible. Her being like the cause of death being hypothermia, I could just see that happening because me personally, with my own experience, just last year, I lost a friend who died from suffocation by intoxication. She was in her home. She passed out. She was drunk. And due to the way that her neck was sitting on her chin, she suffocated. Typically, any of us that have drank or whatever, we would think, oh, why she didn't move, whatever. But my friend really lost her life with that. So it's easy for me to believe that she walked into that freezer on her own, just not in her right mind or whatever the case may be. She also, I mean, whatever the rugs was that she was taking, sometimes when you take certain rugs, it get you a little spicy. You be a little hot. You be trying to find a way to cool off. Even with just drinking, you get your temperature rises. So I can see her sitting down because it was a cool place. It was cooling her off. Like all of these factors that go into that, I can see that. And as far as like, it being a abandoned part of the hotel or not being used or under construction, whatever they choose to label it as, I can see that going on too because like the company that I work for, we build freezers. We build freezers for Chick-fil-A and things of that nature in like business freezers. When those are built, when those are made, those are inserted into the structure of the building. There is no quick on off. You can do a defrost, but it's not because it's built into the building. It's not nothing. You just go unplug it and oh, it's turning off. So typically when dealing with those, most people do leave those running because it's easier to leave it running than not. And if you decide to go back to use it again, it takes way more to get it back running versus just leaving it running. So I believe personally that she just walked in there. I mean, it sucks, but I truly do believe it.
Miss Ma.
So I don't think that she did walk in there on her own. Um, just because me just following this and just seeing, I don't, and we can't be devil's advocate, be like, okay, yes, she tried to go to the lobby and she went to the basement um from the elevator or whatever, and how that's how she ended up down there. or what have you. But if these freezers that we think about, these are not just common doors that you can just easily open like our refrigerators at home. They're heavy duty. You get what I'm saying? And someone being that intoxicated, I just don't really think that she was able to operate it like that, you know. Um, and I don't know. And then it just with all the different theories that I've heard, you know, about that hotel, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of foul play and stuff that had already happened at that. That's another reason why this just has me to believe that the hotel staff had something to do with it, and she did not just wander in there by herself.
Okay. Should the police have done more to interrogate her friends and treat them as potential suspects early on? Tania?
Yeah, I feel like everybody should have got questioned, you know, fairly, and proceed with other procedures after that. But definitely question everybody she was there with, even the hotel. That should have been the number one thing. And I was gonna say too, being that it was abandoned, it's like when we think of abandoned, it's like you can't use it. But like Mr. Ventures was saying, at the same time they keeping it running, that's probably the last place they're thinking she wandered off to, which I feel like you was right as far as like why was nobody like watching the cameras and stuff like that. But so many people be going through these hotels a day, so it's like do they really thoroughly watch them, or you just sitting there doing whatever to pass by your shift? But still, people still be in the lobby and other areas, and even on the elevator you gonna pass people. So I don't see how she just wind up down there by herself. I think everybody should have been treated as a suspect. The friends, yes, hotel employees, security, everybody was a suspect. If somebody's missing, nobody moves until we figure out what's going on. Let's play Sherlock Holmes. Everybody lock in.
Somebody knew something. I think the employees should have been questioned. All the employees that worked on that shift should have been in question as well, because how did this big old hotel and no cameras wasn't even on at that wasn't even on, or what it was, they was on, but I don't think the hotel wanted to be liable for that unalive person at that hotel. I think the employees did it.
Go ahead, Mr. Ventures.
I think her friends definitely should have been treated. I would probably go as far as saying hostile. Yeah, like get to the bottom of it. If for the very least, just of answers, of everything. And I know they gave a story, but I feel like that should have been done from the beginning. Um, I feel like, I mean, I hate. What were the age range of these? I know it was older men there, but the girls, what are they, like 17?
I think, I think they do.
Oh, okay. So I'll just put it like this: if they were underage, I feel like there should have been some type of. Either way, I feel like it should have been some type of punishment under the age of 18. Something, charge them with something, misdemeanor wise. Even over the age, I would say community service. I don't know, just to set a precedent, because you
But
got.
Mr. Ventures, go ahead, finish your point.
Oh, just so it wouldn't be something that happens again. But yeah, definitely feel like they should have questioned them way further.
I personally, um, I'm gonna disagree with that because you don't just give somebody something to prove a point. There is no evidence to prove that her friends did her shit. You know,
No, but they were
it's
at a hotel
different.
party with a
Yeah,
stolen
but
identity.
that's me being with you. Don't mean I did it to you though.
No, I'm saying they were there committing crimes. They were there underage drinking, and they
Guess
stole
what though?
somebody's credit card.
But that sounds like you just want to lock somebody up because they were rebellious children. That don't
But
have nothing to do with the
is that
death
not
of
against the law?
Kenneka Jenkins. You can't just arrest them for being rebellious kids that's doing something they ain't got no business. They
Rebellious
had
is
been doing
staying
it.
out past your curfew, not taking somebody's credit card and charging a room to it.
But guess what? They didn't find that out. The rum was already charged. That none of that was found out until they found Kenneka 2 days later. The deed was already done. So that's my thing. Okay, you're gonna charge them for them getting the rum, going in the rum, doing everything they're doing. Kanika going to the freezer. They leaving, and Kanika still being there. Like I feel like it comes for me. I think they just was young as fuck. Them girls was probably smiling and grinning because there was a whole bunch of males around, and they wasn't paying attention to their friend. And that's just what that was. I don't think it was no like no. And that's why when you go places with people, you don't take your eyes off them. If I came here with you, we all leaving together. It ain't gonna be wherever you go, I'm going. You say you want to go downstairs to get some air, girl, I'm coming with you. That's how we do that. But it ain't no you walking by yourself because that type of stuff can happen. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what you took before you came here. I don't know what type of pregame you did before I picked you up and we came to this hotel. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just feeding you stuff, giving you stuff, not even knowing whatever. But at the same time, I don't really feel like I wouldn't just give them anything to create a precedence. Like, no. It's about the crime at hand. Okay, Kanika was found in a hotel freezer. Did our friends put her there? Right now, the only thing they have to go off of is a Facebook Live video. And in the back of the video, internet people say that they heard that um internet people say that they heard somebody in the back say, oh, they doing something to it. But no, I don't uh-uh. And I feel like every single minute of the footage has been analyzed multiple times. And I just don't see what the friends, you can blame the friends. I think that's the only thing you could really blame them for. But the activity, the deed was already done. And they probably did handle that. They probably did get on their ass about the illegal stuff that they was doing in the process. But that had nothing to do with the crime at hand. Yeah, that had nothing to do with why Kanika ended up in the freezer. Now they shouldn't have been at the hotel. You're absolutely right about that. They shouldn't have taken her mama car and done all of the things that they did. Like no, I don't really. They shouldn't have done those things. But that's things that rebellious kids do.
But I'm saying, like, I again, I do a lot of listen to, like, a specific case, just real quick. A young girl, I think she passed her ACT, not ACT, SAT, got accepted into Ivy League school, never did anything rebellious, all of that. Long story short, they were in her parents' basement. They took some type of PCP or something like that, whatever. But the child ended up overdosing on it. The friends that were there in they spent the night with her. The text messages that they retrieved, where they got the drugs from, all of those kids, they weren't sent to prison, but they were given like a misdemeanor charge, and they had to do like these certain amount of hours of community service. That's what I was getting at. Not to just say lock them up. I said like community service, something that shows them like this is not a game. You can't be out here doing things like this. All of that plays into that. All of the decisions that they made led to that young lady not being here today.
But misadventures, that's a separate crime in itself. All of what you're saying is a whole separate crime in itself. That does not imply that those friends put Kanika in
I'm
the
not saying
freezer.
that they put her in
No,
there.
I'm just saying from the court aspect. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the matter at hand, Kanika being in the freezer, none of the rebellious shit that they was doing put her there. You know what I'm saying? Kanika made the decision to go to the party. They didn't force her. You know what I'm saying? Kanika got in the. It was her
That's
mama's car that took them there. Kanika lied to her mama and told her mama she was going somewhere else and was going to the party. They didn't make her. So you cannot put all of the blame on the friends. Like
I'm
the
not putting
friends
all
just
of the
was.
blame on them. When you insert yourself, regardless of if you know or if you made a person do something, you're still liable. That's like me. You get in the car with me, and when I say, "Oh, you in the car with me," I don't know what you got going on. You go in the store to steal something. I can get that charge right along with you. Like it's all about what you like. I'm not saying that they involved themselves involved like they actually did it to her, but they were involving themselves in things that they should not have been doing. Anything you do, there is consequences behind it. Whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing,
I agree with
they're doing a lot of
you.
wrong.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's no consequences on the part of any of these people. Kenneka took the initiative to do all the things that she did, which ultimately led to her not being here. However, because her friends were allowed to just get in their car and go home and finish the rest of their lives, where's the lesson in this? And I think a lot of times now, this generation that Kenneka is a part of, we too soft on them. If you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes. And because her friends, they were fortunate to not have met their demise, but they was doing the same thing she was doing. It's illegal to take drugs. It's illegal to drink underage. So whatever crime can be associated with their own individual actions, I think they should have been held accountable for.
You baby.
Huh?
Kanika took the pill before she got there.
Right.
She started drinking when she got there. Is there anything to prove that the friends gave Kanika what she took?
No, I'm not saying they should be. Kenneka is
I'm just saying
accountable.
this. I'm not challenging y'all thoughts. I'm just saying in the greater scope of the friends because I feel like that's why they was in charge. It has none of that. That's a whole separate crime on its own. Credit card fraud, whatever rugs they brought to the party, that's all on them. When it
That's a
comes to Kenneka
contributing
Jenkins,
crime
the
of
person
it.
who lost their life, they have nothing to do with what happened to Kanika. So that's why I believe that they wasn't charged in that situation. But them, the credit card for fraud and all of that, that's a whole separate thing.
That was part of the Kenneka
It
system.
contributed to that, the
Right. They
main
were
crime.
mitigating fact. Those are all what you call mitigating factors, right? So if anybody in that room is under the age of 21, everybody in that room should have been held accountable for whoever that was there drinking. Why? Because if you would not have done A, B would not have happened. And when you have situations like Kenneka and the only person who is hurt is Kenneka, everybody else doesn't learn a lesson. They just gonna play smarter next time. But if you facing 30 days in the poker because you underage drinking with your homegirl, I bet you think twice before you do that again.
But see, this is the point. This is what y'all missing about what I'm saying, right? Y'all saying that the credit card, okay, the credit card fraud and with the hotel room, that was a mitigating factor. However, when it comes to that hotel, Kanika made the decision to go. Kanika lied to her mom and told her she was going one place and was going to that hotel. That's the first thing. Walk with me. That's the first thing. The second thing, when it comes to the rugs, there is nothing to prove from the courts that her friends, that whatever was in Kanika's system got there when she got to that hotel. Kanika only was drinking when she got there. So whatever she took before she got there, there was nothing to prove. No text messages, no nothing to prove that that they had any hand in that part of it. Now I get what y'all saying that some of what they did were mitigating factors. However, when it comes to the incident at hand with Kanika, when it comes to her passing away and being found in the freezer, what hand did they have in her getting in the freezer? That's
I
my
feel,
question.
I
They
feel like
might,
they should have been
might
questioned, and if they had proof on cameras that and text messages that they actually walk her down and they see them doing this, then yeah, you get charged for that. But that's just like if one of y'all kids was in a situation like that, yeah, I wouldn't want them to be charged for a wrongful death that wasn't their fault if it's proof that they didn't have anything to do with it, regardless of if they're underage drinking and all this, that, and the third. They still didn't kill the girl.
Hold
Off the
on.
girl.
Let Miss Mott answer, then we're gonna let Chosen go. Go ahead, Miss Mott.
Okay, yeah, I do think that the police could have put the pressure more on the staff and the friends. I also think that what Miss Adventure them and Q Baby are saying, I think if they would have used that more of a tactic, like, hey, you did X, Y, and Z, the credit card and this and that, and would have charged them, I think they would have gotten more answers out of them if they would have felt like, hey, or strike a deal or something. That's just my thought about a tactic that they could have used to get more answers about what have happened.
Go ahead, Chosen.
All right, so me personally, right? So I'm from the Wild Hunters, right? 3300 block, West Side Chicago. So according to what everybody been saying for quite some time, right? The whole situation comes down to whenever Monifa, I forgot the other girl name, but whenever Monifa and that other girl walked Kenneka Jenkins outside of that motel room, then Kenneka Jenkins told one of the girls, my keys and my phone is inside the motel room. So they left her outside unattended. They go inside. And they supposedly had got her keys and her phone. So whenever they came back outside, that's when Kenneka Jenkins was missing. But what a lot of people, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, well, what Irene is not telling nobody is, whenever they left Kenneka Jenkins outside, Irene asked the other girl, not Monifa, but I forgot the girl name. I don't know the girl. But Irene asked that girl who outside with Kenneka, and that girl said the security guard is outside with Kenneka. I swear for God, this is something that's been going on in the streets, been flying around this whole time. So whenever they had the interview with Zach TV, whenever they've been doing them lives and everything else, that part never came out. That part never came out. But the crazy thing is, Kenneka Jenkins' mama was told about this. The mama and the sister was told about this, but it's something that these people are just not coming out and saying. Now, that's the only thing I just wanted to say. So whenever they go back outside, Kenneka Jenkins, she's gone. And they walking around, they looking for her. And that right there, that's all I wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? That's just been floating around through the streets for years.
Thank you for that, Chosen. All right. We got another piece of the puzzle. Let's go ahead, Prince.
I got a question before we
Pastor
go on to
Flo.
the piece of the puzzle. Do you think that those videotapes was altered?
Hold on. Let's hear from Prince. Go ahead, Prince.
Yo, how y'all doing, panel?
Yo.
Well, what Chosen just was saying is true. I'm from Milwaukee, and I know people that's from the city, and they pretty much were saying the same thing. Like, what happened to her wasn't just like a regular little situation, you know. If you know, like she was somebody that was, she was kind of in the world in a way. So, yeah, what he was saying was true. They pretty much said that the security guard was the one who grabbed the girl, was the one who grabbed her up. That's what they were saying. They didn't really have nothing to do with the situation per se, because she didn't have no, she was drinking before she got there. It wasn't no foul play on their part. That's why ain't nobody never get jammed up from them. But the only wrongdoing I'll say they probably had was leaving her out there unattended, because Irene was trying to get chose by some people. So that's what kind of left her unattended, and she was under the influence. So that's what really transpired from what the streets saying, from what everybody.
Let me ask this question. That security guard, are they just saying a security guard, or are they not putting no name on it? And is that did they say that was their first and last time seeing this man? Like they couldn't identify whoever this person was
No,
after?
so from my understanding and my knowledge, that security guard was illegal or something. It was something like that. This is just from my understanding. He was like an illegal working under the table or something. So he wasn't even supposed to be there. And when it was time to find him, they went to the head of security, and they pretty much told the police, like, we don't know where he at. So that's from what I just know from, what the streets saying. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just, people, like I said, I'm from Milwaukee. I know people that stay in the city, and that's something that still come up to this day. This is one of those cases that's um sad. It is. So from the streets, that's all from when it transpired, that's what I heard, that when they came and talked to the head of security, told them like, well, we don't know where he at. And they was like, oh, well, how y'all don't know where he at? And that's when they had to expose he was illegal because somebody died, and everybody was saying it. Like, people was saying, like, the security was out there, so we don't even understand, They kept saying the security. That's why everything was so grainy and raggedy on them videos. You know what I'm saying? They had the power to, critique stuff and do what they needed to do to make it look a certain way. And that's what they did. But, ain't no wrongdoing get put on their end. So, that's all that matter, from what the streets said. So I know a lot of people be feeling like it's messed up. We let a black, whatever. But, if that ease our minds, it's just what the streets saying. They didn't have nothing to do with that. Kenneka was loved by them people. Believe it or not, she was. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, bro.
I just wanted to throw in there what was his name? Chosen? What he said. That kind of makes sense to me. I never heard of that perspective. Like they left her phone and whatever was left in the room, and she was downstairs. That really fits the narrative in my mind. It does.
Yeah, I've heard what he had said before. Either it was through reading the comments of everything that was going on on the tapes and everything like that. So I heard what Chosen has said. I've read it or heard it through an interview, when I was following all of this. So yeah, I've heard what he said before, that they left her and he was trying to figure out, and I think it was like one of the girls interviewing, like one of them, one of the girls he mentioned, Monifa, Irene, or one of them, whoever that he had mentioned, that they were saying that they had left her, and then when they came back, because I heard the mention of the phone and the keys and everything like that, but I was like, why did because my thought was, why did both of them have to go back in the room to look for the phone and the keys? Why didn't just one of them go in and the other one stayed with her?
It was a straight setup.
He had said, I wanted to tell you that misadventures. He said that I don't know if somebody walked her out of there anyways, and she told was it Irene to get her keys and stuff. So it was just kind of like walk outside the room thing, not actually downstairs. And then that's when he was saying like it was a security guard out there, and I guess Irene was like, saying like who it was, I guess because she wanted to be chosen by the people that were surrounded by her.
But it's still not making sense because if we came to this hotel together, wherever you go, I'm stuck to your ass like Velcro. You ain't going to the bathroom by yourself.
We stuck like crazy
For
glue.
me, I feel like if I'm gonna hold the friends accountable for anything, it's that. Y'all should have never let y'all friend out y'all view. It don't take 4 of y'all to get a phone and some keys.
Right.
Y'all should have never left y'all friend in that hotel hallway, downstairs, wherever she was at. Y'all should have never left her there.
But Mom,
That's why I feel like they should be held
and one
accountable.
person could have went in there and got her keys and purse or whatever she
Literally.
wanted, but we still would have been sitting out there
Exactly.
together.
And my
until
thing
she
is
got back in the
even
room.
before she took off walking, she was like that upstairs. If she was standing in that hallway and she told y'all where her stuff was at, she was like that upstairs. So why did it even get to while y'all was acting like y'all didn't know where she was at, all the while she wandered in the hotel?
So let me jump in. Like Tex just said in the comments, he said females. And I've shared this story on a panel before. Not everybody is your friend and you don't realize it until something happens. I'm 41 years old and I, as a grown woman, have been left stranded by somebody I thought was my friend. We went out. The dudes wasn't really checking for her. Somebody was checking for me. It was just a simple conversation. And she decided, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I'm leaving. And we were in a different city, 3 hours away. We were in Charlotte. I lived 3 hours from Charlotte, and she drove. Homegirl dipped. She swears to this day we're not friends anymore. But when I confronted her about it, she said that she told me she was leaving. I said, okay. She went to the car. She waited for 10 minutes. I didn't come outside, so she thought I was good. She left me 3 hours away. I had to take $100 Uber home. So it's not uncommon. So in Keneka's case, and these are young girls, right? They were all in their early 20s. So for me, they're babies. So not everybody has that notion of we come together, we lead together, especially if there's some underhanded jealousy. And I'm not saying that there was amongst to me, Kenneka and her friends, but as a woman, I can say that in some friend groups, when you insert men into the picture, women start acting real funny towards you.
Oh, that's like the fifth wheel.
And I want to say too, that type of stuff had to be taught and instilled in you. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wasn't raised like that to just be generous and look out for their friends. So that's another thing too. Regardless of, this woman might be, even if she's jealous or whatever, just having that mindset of you not walking outside without me, or if you is, send me your location. Like I need to know where you at just for your safety. And so I don't be worried all night. You know what I'm saying? About where you are, where you going, who you with. Everybody don't think like that and move like that because they wasn't raised like that.
Right. And I
And some
think that
people just simply be
that
all for
opens.
themselves.
Right. And I think this is a good conversation because it needs awareness also needs to be put out, about this. Because like you said, a lot of people are not, a lot of young girls, young ladies are not taught this. Because if you think if they were, Q baby wouldn't have been left. You know what I'm saying? The girl wouldn't have did it unless it was just that underlying jealousy or whatever, because that right there, that is what it is. But it does need to be taught. Conversations need to be had about watching each other's back, um, regardless of how you feel about a situation or what have you.
But to what Q was saying, some women get real weird about men. I don't know
Hmm.
what it be. Like coming from somebody that I've been in that experience that as well, because I'm like a social butterfly. I talk to everybody. I don't care. It's never any type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Flirtatious, nothing. I just have this neck of just talking to every and anybody. I can just start up a conversation no matter who you are. And some women, they get really weird about that. They consider it as flirting, or, oh, you want him, I want him. No, darling, have at it. Matter of fact, I'll be your wingman. They get real weird about it.
I think it's about that competition thing
Yeah.
that you know what I'm saying, like that we don't speak on, but it's that inside competition that we have with other women, for whatever crazy reasons or whatever the case may be, well, for different reasons. I won't say crazy because it makes sense to some people, whatever, but for different reasons, that tends to kind of happen. But at the end of the day, we need to be teaching our young kids, like, because we see what happened to the lady here in Charlotte, not to get off the topic, but just to make a point. The girl here in Charlotte went on that trip all the way to Mexico and she did not make it back. You get what I'm saying? And it was because of underlying jealousy and all this other stuff. So,
Insecurities.
yep, and all of that.
And I was gonna say too, some people just simply be jealous of your aura. Like, and that's just something you can't control. Like the way some people like you, the way some people love you, the way some people just draw to you. That
Hmm.
don't have nothing to do with you. And sometimes you don't even know about that until you actually in that situation. So that could be another thing too. But I just feel like most women and men need to teach their children. I don't care if it's, your sons. You don't leave without your friends, period. If y'all are real friends, it's no way y'all need to leave. One need to leave without the other. That's just on safety. It don't matter because you looking at this girl that he want, like all that is irrelevant.
Okay, so let me ask my next question to y'all and y'all in the comments.
Amani, you
Um,
never did answer my question
yes, I did.
about the cameras being altered.
There was no cameras altered, but I'm getting there in a second.
Okay.
How do you explain the girls returning Kanika's mother's car and phone without Kanika, and seemingly not sounding the alarm to her mother when they did get there without her? What do you say about that, Tanya?
Said they returned Kenneka belongings in her mother's car without
Yeah,
Kenneka.
her phone in the car. Um, but like they didn't sound the alarm immediately from the hotel when they couldn't find Kenneka.
That's kind of weird. Cause if my first of all, if my friend is missing, I'm finna go try to get through her phone to let her mama know something that I'm finna be on the way with her. Her mama is not gonna. I'm not gonna get to her mama then explain it to her. She gonna know before I even get to her. And I feel like they should have definitely alerted the hotel before they even left. So how are you showing up to the parent and she don't even know nothing about this? That's weird.
Go ahead, Q.
It causes me to raise an eyebrow because, granted, they were young adults. However, you're taught to dial 911 when something is suspicious as early as 5. So to get in this girl's car and drop it off at her mother's house, knowing full and well you was with her baby all night with no explanation, is suspicious. Because at the very least, we can't find our friend. Let's call the cops. So that makes me wonder, what were they trying to hide? Could have been the credit card fraud, maybe. But whatever it was, at this point, this baby is missing. So whatever we did to get us here, now we're here. Call the police. But they chose not to.
I'm breaking over the coals with this one. That's some roguish shit what they did. Roguish.
Go ahead, Miss Adventures.
Um, with me, it come down to time frames. I can't remember the exact time frames that you said they actually looked around for versus when they went home. But baby, I'm going down tooth and nail. Matter of fact, yo, I'm calling. I'm not taking your mama. Oh well, how would the mom get up there? I'm going to pick your mama up so she can further assist. It just ain't no drop your things off, leave you there. Like, matter of fact, we probably gonna have to have the police because I can't leave because she might come back here looking for me and I might miss her at this point because she's missing. Um, I don't know if my mindset with that comes with the experience, like because you get older and you feel like that's how you would handle things versus how I would have thought when I was their age. So I don't know if I can attribute that to that. I don't know. Some people fold under pressure. Some people just can't handle it. Some people can't think when they're backed into a corner. They give you deer in headlights. So I'm on the fence with that. So I don't think I look at them any differently in that aspect.
Miss Mott.
Well, I lost the question in between the conversations and stuff. Um, ooh. You were asking about the whole getting the car to the mother without having her Kenneka with them and stuff. I mean, I would have been making a phone call once she was missing. We couldn't find her, like calling the mom, like, hey, this is what's going on. And I would have kind of felt her out if she was like, okay, well, come get me in my car or whatever, so I can come up there. And then that's what I would have done. But yeah, that's how I would have handled it. I would have called her from the get go when we could not have found her, regardless of what we did was right or wrong, get in the hotel or were we supposed to be there, not supposed to be there. But when someone goes missing, it's hard. I mean, to think about my child going missing and not knowing which way to go, which way to look, and everything like that. It's heart wrenching. But I think the right thing for them to do was to have called her first and then let the mom, tell them exactly what they needed to do, for it's like coming to get her or not.
As far as for me, because I'm just now getting in, but I do know the story very well because I remember when it like happened and whatever. And I always felt like there was something fishy about the whole story from the get. Like how y'all all went with your friend, and then all of a sudden your friend don't come back and nobody know nothing. And then when footage do come out, it shows that y'all had something to do with it, low key. And then the fact of and now to jump upon your question, for her like to not tell her mother is crazy. Like right, wrong, and different. That was supposed to be your friend.
Like off that strength. Forget the fact that you might have didn't like her outfit. Maybe she looked better than you that day. Maybe her lace was lacing better than yours. That was still your friend. You could have still called her mother. And I'm gonna say her mother's better than me. Cause you see me, I would have came on the scene and I would have been ready to smile in my mugshot. Cause what you not about to do is that. I'd have been ready, like, y'all, and nobody called me. Like, I remember when I got locked up for this whole situation, and my mother had to go through tooth and nail just to get all the way up to deep Connecticut to bail me out. She called all my friends raggedy, called all of them all the B word, gave them all the business. Because the fact that for y'all to call y'all, and I gave them the business too, best to believe, because for y'all to call yourself my friend, y'all couldn't at least help my mother get up here. Like, it's bad enough none of y'all had a dollar to offer. The least you could have did was help my mother get up here. And that's what I'm saying on that. And like, granted, y'all already did what y'all did. Y'all could have at least helped my mother look for me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Go get my mother and bring her up here so she can assist or whatever the case might have been. So this story always made me feel real passionate because I always felt the way about it when I heard about it the first time because that's some grimy stuff.
Okay, so two things. For y'all that's new here, I'm Armani. Hi. I do a daily case analysis every day. And this is my case analysis for today. I've discussed Jeffrey Dahmer, Eileen Warnos, many people. Today we're discussing Kenneka Jenkins and her case. This case is closed, so there wouldn't be any new updates on this. So if you're joining the conversation, we got a lot to talk about, so that's why we here. But go ahead, Baddest. My thing is
I was gonna say, responding to all of y'all. Most parents would want you to inform them, and they would actually prefer you to stay put because they're coming 10 toes about their child. So it really wouldn't even matter if she drove her mama car there or if it's her car and you trying to get it back to the parents. They're coming if they know for a fact their child is possibly missing. Oh, they ain't gonna want you to drive to them. They're gonna tell you to stay put. They on the way.
But on top of that too, Tanya, just playing a little bit of devil's advocate for the friends, what if they were genuinely looking for her?
They probably
What
would.
if they
I
exhausted
still would have
all
called
efforts?
I still would have called the parents and told them
Yeah,
what
but
was
I feel
going
like that
on
should have
and
been
stayed
step
where I
number
was at.
one.
You know what I'm saying? Still trying to
Yeah,
find my friend.
that should have been step number one. They should have
Yeah.
called mama first
Yeah.
and then started looking.
Like
Hey,
they
your daughter, your
Or
daughter is,
they could have started looking. It was 4 of them. 3 of them could have started looking, and one of them could have gotten the car and went got the mama. Like they could have. I don't know. They could have dealt with that
I
differently.
just know how my mom is like me and my brother. She coming.
Thinking about
She coming.
didn't the like footage also show like they had something to do with it, low key?
no.
Like it didn't like they wasn't the last one to be seen with her in the room or whatever, and then she just came up and then they like put her because how did she get into that freezer?
Yeah,
Wasn't
that
it until
was
that?
all speculation. The friends were never accused
Yeah,
of
we
it.
discussed that bad as you came in late.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
think
Yeah, I'm at my mama's house.
thinking of the mind of a 20-year-old, we were all 20 at some point, and I think they all acknowledged that they fucked up. Everything that they had done from the beginning of the night to the end was wrong. And I think that their primary concern was not getting in trouble for the things that they knew that they had done. I don't believe for one second that they didn't look for Kenneka, but I think that as 20-something-year-olds, they probably said, you know what, there's nothing else that we could do. But what we need to do is conceal the stuff that we know that we have done. So I think it was more of the hotel, the rugs, the alcohol. They had all of these things going on. So in the back of their mind, I don't think any of them realized the magnitude of what was really happening. And I think that's why they didn't bother to stay. I think it was more of, you know what, stay in the child's place. Let's get this lady back her car and she could take it from here, because at that point they didn't know what to do.
I don't know. I just can't see them just being completely just innocent and giving them a pass. I'm sorry. I just can't. And I think it was based on, I mean, like this, I followed this case when it happened, but it's all coming back to me, briefly about certain things about it. But going, because I even went to looking at the friends' pages and, you know, and all the videos and stuff that they put up. And it was, I think it was some underlying jealousy there. This is just my opinion that leads me to believe that they're not completely just innocent, and we can just say like these was just young kids that didn't make the right decision and stuff like that. We know that it's so important when someone is missing that time matters regardless. And I can understand you don't want to get in trouble and all this other stuff, but time matters when you in this huge hotel and this person is missing and you have been looking for them. So yeah, I just can't give them a pass.
And then like and then Armani said too, like wasn't there something wrong with the cameras? Like, and then on top of that, that's a problem too. Like time matters and all of that. Obviously, cameras ain't reliable.
I think we know time is of the essence as adults, but as the mother of a 21-year-old, I wouldn't trust her and her friends to walk their way out of a circle because they're all clueless at their age. They're so caught up in what I would deem to be nonsense that they don't sit back and think about the consequences of any of their actions. There have been so many times, like my daughter and I, we're close, so she understands, I don't care what's going on, call me. If it's blood on your hands, just call me. We'll figure it out. Just call me. But oftentimes these kids, they go out and they get themselves into these situations because they're playing adults, right? They renting hotels and doing who knows what else it is that they're doing, but they don't ever think about the possible consequences. My daughter and her friend group, bless their hearts, sweetest group of girls ever, but they're idiots. The things that they do, it's just like, okay, well, why'd you do that? Did you think this thing through? And the answer is always no. I didn't think it through. All I know is that we were going out and we were driving this car and we was picking everybody up, but nobody thought to stop at the gas station. And now y'all stranded on the side of the road with no gas because they only think about the outfits, the hair, the makeup, and the party. Anything else that could happen along with all of those things, I don't think 20-something-year-olds think about it because in their 20-year-old minds, nothing will go wrong. They're clueless for one reason or another. I don't think I was that clueless at 21, but this new group of kids, they're different.
That's what I was gonna say too. Every child gonna be different, but I know at their age, in that in any situation, in any environment, when I'm with my friends, if something was to ever happen to them, I was just simply inform their parents because I wouldn't want their parents thinking I had something to do with it. So I'm gonna let them know, and I'm gonna keep trying to find my friend. Just be on your way.
But then again, this group of eight, these kids, this group of age of children, you can't tell them nothing. They know everything, and then they fa and they fo things in the end results. So I feel sorry for what happened to Tanika.
Kanika.
Okay, her. I feel sorry for her and her family, but she's unalive. But I think it was a straight up setup by her friends and the security guard, whoever, and the hotel. And I'm done.
Well, um, do you find it ironic, y'all on the panel and y'all in the comments? Do y'all find it ironic that there was no direct camera footage of Kanika entering the freezer? They had camera footage for everything but her entering the freezer. Was that a coincidental or a result of camera tampering or intentional blind spots? Tania?
I can't really say. It do sound suspicious. I guess it would just depends on how the hotel was set up before all this happened. Like if they got proven facts that cameras was everywhere and then like all of a sudden they're not down there anymore. But what if they was never cameras in this abandoned area that we're speaking of? How can we say, you know what I'm saying? We didn't know.
Yeah, I think it's suspicious. And after hearing what Chosen said, it's even more suspicious because now we know of a security guard and we know of, other things that I personally didn't previously know about. If the area was abandoned, right, it's still in an operating hotel. So why would there not be camera footage facing said freezer? Even if the freezer isn't in use, why wouldn't there be camera footage? When the freezer was at some point in use, would you not want to see what's coming in and out of your freezer? If anything, to mitigate theft, right? So I think it's suspicious.
Go ahead, Miss Michelle.
If that was a YT person, them cameras would have been up. They would have found some type of coverage. And also, too, I think it was camera tampering.
Miss Adventures.
In my opinion, I don't think that restaurants typically have cameras pointed at the freezer, and I I don't think that's a thing. I'm not saying that some don't, but in most cases they don't because it's not considered a high risk area. Nobody's taking frozen steaks and stuffing them in their boots and walking out. If that's the case, I got a whole nother scenario for that. But with the cameras not being present there, I just think that's just was the setup of the restaurant. I think that's what it was. Like that's how it was. I mean, we can't
Coincidence
take
that
away from it.
they didn't have cameras there.
Huh?
Do you think it's a coincidence that they didn't have cameras there?
No, I think that's like typical. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a standardized setup of a restaurant. You get what I'm saying? I don't think it was intentionally done that way. I think that's just standardized. Most of the time these restaurants they and I'm not sure the things about it, I'm not sure what caliber of hotel this was, but if they had a kitchen down in the bottom, it was probably I ain't gonna say on the high end, but somewhere in the middle. It wasn't a Motel 6. I don't know. I just being that the company that I sell freezers, we go to a lot of expos and all of this. That's typically not a thing, and that's just why I feel that way about it.
Go ahead, Miss Mott.
Um, I don't think it was. I don't know. I guess they didn't have any issues with people stealing or something. I don't know. I do kind of find it odd that there was no cameras there inside, well, by the freezer, because they were in the kitchen. So because there is camera footage of inside of the kitchen, just not by the freezer. So I guess the camera theory will have to go out the window because it's there, but it just wasn't one that was pointed to the freezer. So yeah.
Hey, ADC, what your thoughts is?
Hey Pooh, how are you? I agree with Monette. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize. I agree with you on there because I did see several different angles from when she walked in that kitchen. Now, it was semi one by the freezer, but you could not see her walk in the freezer as they said she did. I do feel like it was being tempered too, because there's no way you have all them angles in the kitchen, so showing certain places where she walked there and they seen that, but you have no camera by a freezer. That's odd to me. There's no way, because everywhere she went in that kitchen, there was a camera showing where she walked to. There's no way you did not see that girl go in the freezer or however she got there. Because after, to be honest with you, I'm gonna jump a little bit. After they found out where she was at and they did their autopsy, it was found that she was great and some other things. But I ain't gonna go too far on that because Armani didn't even jump that far. But I just had to say that part. But I feel like it was tampered with, and something. Yeah, they knew that. For me, the hotel knew what was going on. Because from my understanding, when this story came out, it's plenty of crimes that go down in that hotel, and it never get covered, or it never get what's the word I'm looking for, Armani? It never get resolved. So they get away with a lot of stuff in that hotel. And that was brought up when they found out this young lady, Kenneka Jenkins, was missing from that hotel. Well, not missing. We knew she was in it, but they didn't know where she was at.
Jarrell.
Yeah, I'm with misadventures on this one. I don't think it was camera tampering because, like, in my experience of working in restaurants, there's usually no cameras in the freezer or in the fridge. The only time I've ever seen them installed is like what they said is when the food loss with inventory is becoming significant, or managers been seeing employees eating in the fridge trying to hide out. So yeah, I don't think it was no camera tampering.
Baddest.
With Jarrell too. I never I worked at a restaurant and I don't remember it having cameras in the freezer. And I mean I wasn't around when they had food coming up missing to know what happens when that comes along. But yeah, I don't think they had cameras.
But can I say this? Can I say this, Amani? I agree with y'all, but y'all gotta understand every restaurant is different. That don't necessarily mean you have to have a camera inside the freezer, but you can have a camera beside the freezer, depending on where that camera is placed at in that kitchen to see what's going in and out of the kitchen. Every restaurant runs differently. Y'all also gotta think about that. Every restaurant's not ran the same, nor do they have the same camera setup.
That's the point exactly, though, DC. That I can't say that it is camera tampering due to the fact that every restaurant isn't set up the same. So them
Right,
not having a camera outside the freezer doesn't send off any alarms for me.
right.
I
Okay.
don't think there was camera tampering, but I do think that it is conveniently suspicious that she was found in the one place without a camera. There's
Right, and
one
that, but
thing,
that's
but
why I
how is she
said a little
hidden?
bit of, that's why I said a little bit of temper, only because if you watch every video, it looked like it was the camera was moved a little bit so they would not see her walking into a freezer or however she got there. And I'm only saying that because one of the videos I seen, they seen her walking back there close by the freezer. Now, how is it if y'all have a camera back there where y'all can see her walking close by the freezer? How is it y'all did not see her where or how the hell she got in that freezer? They had several image videos out, and I seen all of them.
Speaking back it off of what they said, I worked in fast food when I first started working. It's cameras everywhere, but like let's just say if this situation would have happened like at one of those restaurants, you would only see me walking back there like to the freezer. But as far as like me actually going in there and stuff like that, like you won't see none of that. So you can see like somebody following you back there and stuff. You would know everybody that went back there, but as far as like what goes on back there, like you wouldn't see it.
But see, then that's where it comes in. Like, okay, the security. Are you really watching? Are you really watching the tapes? Are you really paying attention? And I just find it hard to believe that they were having, like, they had 30 something people that were supposed to have been at this party. You know they're not being quiet as a mouse. You know that they're being loud. You know that there's probably a Karen a couple of doors down from you that's making the complaint about downstairs. So I'm figuring, I mean, at that point, there should have been an alarm for them to, like, hey, let's keep an eye on what's going on here, whatever, whatever. So that's a lot, I think, falls back on security, because why were you not watching that, those cameras to know that, like, hey, I got somebody in a restricted area, or whatever. But when the foul play comes in, if you are security that is part of it, then this is your opportunity to do whatever, because you see someone that's wandering down there, that's walking into the walls, and and just look like they're under some influence of some type of intoxication or whatever. So I'm just, security is looking real bad, just really bad to me.
I
I
agree.
did say it was like a shady hotel. I'm not sure if that was somebody from Chicago in the comments. Somebody down there said it wasn't like, they said it was like things always going down there at the hotel. So it may not have been a Karen. Like, I'm sure if a complaint was made.
Yeah, things
Yeah,
are
you
always
see, I
going down
said
at
that
that
earlier.
hotel. That's what I was saying. They were saying things are always going down at that hotel,
Right,
and they're never getting caught. That
right.
hotel is
That's, yeah,
shiesty.
I
yeah.
was gonna say too, Miss Munt. I definitely agree with you. I feel like people should look into the security thing, period. Because most times, I ain't even gonna lie to you, most people that be security guards, they just trying to get by on their shift. Like a lot of them don't thoroughly watch everything. You got some of them that do, but most of them they just be doing whatever to pass time. Some of them be sleep. So it's like, depending on the level of hotel, was it a Hamptons, like this, that, and third, like, and there are restrictions. Like some people really don't even pay attention.
Okay, so let me ask this question to y'all and y'all in the comments. Why do you feel like when it comes to Kanika's friends and Kanika lying to her mother that night about where they was going, do you feel like they was trying to hide something from the start?
Hey y'all.
To the friends. Tania,
Can you
I
say that?
can't hear
I
you
was just
because you
gonna
went out a
ask you
little bit.
repeat it again because you was going low.
when it comes to Kanika's friends and Kanika, um, why did they lie to her mother that night? You would say. Do you feel like that when it comes to the friends that they was trying to hide something from the beginning, and they manipulated Kanika into going with that move? Or do you feel like I said, in my opinion, this was something that she willingly did? She was a part of that plan. But I don't think anybody expected it to go this far. Tanya?
I think I think this is pretty much, you know, something that she kind of did, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think they was expecting the outcome. So I think to answer the first part of your question, they probably didn't tell the full truth to the parent because they probably was scared. The fact that it turned out like this, and of course now y'all the blame gonna be on the friends, because what happened, like how did she come missing, this, that, and the third. So I think that's where they probably was scared and probably just lied.
Yeah, I don't think they were hiding anything nefarious. I don't think that any of these kids left their house with the intention of, harming Kaniko or anybody else. If they're guilty of anything, it was guilty of being children, right? They were hiding the fact that, oh my goodness, we've done all of these things we knew we shouldn't have done, and now the shit has hit the fan. But in terms of actually wanting to intentionally harm Kanika, I don't think that was ever a plan.
Ms. Chriselle?
I think it's all the above. A little bit all the above.
Miss Adventures?
I don't think they lied to her mom like for nothing other than who wants to go out to eat when we can go to this hotel party? We finna go to the party. I'm not sitting going bowling into dinner. We finna go turn up. So I think that was the only. I think it was just kids being kids at that point.
Miss Mott?
I don't think they didn't. I think that they didn't tell the full story, full part of this, because either they didn't want to give up what they were actually part of, or they just didn't want to get in trouble of about the credit cards, the alcohol, and the rugs that was used in the hotel.
I'm gonna say all the above. I'm gonna say all the above because if I'm not mistaken, I do remember, and I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn when they interviewed them kids, one of them kids said Kanika was saying she wasn't even feeling right after she had drunk but so much, or whatever the case might be, and she needed some air. That's why they took her out into the hallway. But like I said in the beginning, they left her in the hallway too, which they should not have done that and left her by herself because she went wandering off, not knowing what the hell she was doing. So I'm gonna say all the above.
So here's my thing. Hold on, Charles. Hold
Hey.
on, Charles.
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
This is my thing. DC. Whatever the medication was, see, this is why I do my case analysis to break down the factors of the case that's in black and white, not what we heard from the street, in black and white. According to what's on the black and white, they say Kanika took whatever was in her system before she got to the hotel.
Yeah, I know that.
Now,
I wasn't saying they gave her anything.
no,
I
I'm
was
not
just
saying
saying
that. I'm
she
not
said she
saying
wasn't
that.
feeling good.
I'm just I'm just putting it in full scope
Okay, my
that
bad. Go ahead, boo.
they said that Kanika took whatever she took before she got there.
Right.
She now whatever alcohol was drunk was done at the hotel. They said Kanika's legal. She was over the legal limit.
Hmm.
Her alcohol percent in her blood was 0.112%,
Yeah, I
well over
remember
the
that.
legal limit. So she was well intoxicated. But
Hmm.
one of the side effects of the medicine that she had took before she got there, because they said could have caused confuseness, drowsiness, like it would have caused her to have
To wander.
those effects that we seen her having walking down the hotel videos.
Okay, it makes
So
sense.
that's what I'm saying too. So if when people there was people that were saying what if they people slipped her something, I can't necessarily say that because she had took something before she got there.
Yeah, and even though
So
that's said in a report too, who's to say we don't know if they gave her something as well and they just didn't catch it?
and
So we just know
yeah,
you just know about what's
but
going off the report.
before she got to the hotel, that was already in her system
No, I know that. I'm just saying who's to say they didn't give her something else while she was at the
while she
party.
was
They
there.
just going off you just going off the report of what you saw. But who's to
Mhm.
say they didn't give she didn't take nothing at the party and they just didn't catch it because her medicine could have the medicine and the alcohol could have overstimulated it. If that might be the wrong word I'm using, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay. What you
But
go
you're
ahead, Kevin.
absolutely right.
So
Oh yeah, sorry, girl. Hey, y'all. Okay, so two things. One thing. I'm from Chicago, and Kenneka, we cheer together. So I'm gonna say this with respect of like that was my friend. I speak too much on the situation. All of them, all of them, all of them do all type of rugs all day long. So the reason why nobody went to go like say, oh well, we gon' like in your right mind to say no, friend, you can't go out into the hallway is because it's normal behavior of them to be off. I don't know TikTok language, but like the rugs that they're on. So I do feel like, well, it's a shady hotel. That's a known shady hotel. I do believe that the lie was told to her mom because every parent know that Crown Plaza is the worst hotel to go to in Chicago. Like it's always something going on in that hotel. Always. I do, however, also believe still in my heart of hearts that she was looking for somebody. Somebody told her to meet her there in that area, and I feel like she was going to meet somebody because even if you look in the video, she was like looking around the corner, like she was looking for something. If that makes sense.
go ahead, Baddest.
Agree with Miss Adventures and um, DC with the whole. We don't know if maybe they gave her that before, and maybe whatever she took last overpowered that. Because that is a possibility. You know what I mean? But but to hear, but now this is news to me. Finding out that that was a known rank, like rinky.
Yeah,
No,
because
they let children get hotel rooms. Like you don't have to even
see,
be. You can be whatever age. Like they let you pay
see,
for the hotel room with cash. Like that's a horrible hotel.
that's
Like
too much. That's too
yeah,
much. You know what I'm saying? And like to find that out is like now it's giving like now I have more questions because it's like y'all purposely went there knowing that just so y'all can have a little hotel party. It's like they must have knew something else. I don't know.
I wouldn't put it that far because it's just like you baby said, as children, like we was young at the time, so it's like you're not
Sorry, your
thinking
background
about
kind of
like,
loud.
oh, I'm sorry. I get where you was going because I heard what Q baby said too. Like they girls, they probably wasn't even thinking about that. And I've been young too, but dang, like the moment something go wrong, like I done sobered up real quick. Like hold up, but.
was underage. Don't you have to be a certain age to be able to rent out a room?
Yeah, you technically have
Be
to be
21.
Yeah,
21 to
see, if they
get
was
a
under
room.
21,
Yeah.
they probably just went to where
They
they
was
could
not
get a
even
room
eight.
at.
Some people
Hold on,
wasn't even 18.
hold on. They were also with older men. They
Oh,
didn't
that's,
necessarily
but
have to be
let's
children,
also be crystal clear.
but
That's the thing.
they was also using somebody else's credit card. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because you get somebody else to get the room for you. Like you get the older person, you use their ID, they come check you in, and older men come pick up girls from the high school all the time, i.e. R. Kelly. What R. Kelly was doing wasn't new. R. Kelly used to be outside of girls' high school, so it's just like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Like I'm, yeah,
Oh, and then
that's.
in that case, then the hotel don't let underage people do it. They just
Oh no, they
pretty
do let
much was
underage
using a
people
grown.
do it.
Oh,
They
you.
let
But I
under
thought you
they
had
let
said
under
that.
No, I'm saying both. It can go both ways. So like you can't like sometimes you get older people to get your room for you, and then sometimes the hotel they just make you pay extra in cash so that you're underage and you get and you can get the room yourself.
Oh, I thought you were saying like that's what they pretty much was doing, like having somebody else book it and then they go get it. Because at first I think you were saying like they just let anybody get a room regardless. Like I don't
Yeah,
have to
like no,
use,
like no
my brother to get the room.
two
I can
things
just
are
go in
true
there.
at the same time. Like they do that too. You get what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
you can be underage and get it yourself. You pay cash and you gotta pay a little extra to get it. But then
Mm,
also too sometimes you get it in a different name and then a
mm,
different name. That's how you get your loan.
mm. Yeah, that's wild.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the scene. This is my last few questions of the case analysis because I have my case comparison at 6. Why was her body found with her arms crossed and clothing disheveled? Would you say that's consistent with hypothermia, or do you feel like it was staged? Tania?
Found how?
Her arms crossed and her clothing disheveled.
Mm,
I'm sorry.
I don't. I mean, that
I,
means somebody was trying to take her clothes off, right? I don't know.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't even know. It just not to me. It sounds like somebody did something to her, put her in there. Like from that, perspective, it sounds like somebody put her in there. Her clothes was like, distressed, real or whatever, and her arms was already folded because once you're out, you're out. So it ain't like you just gonna, do all that. You just gonna, go out how you go out. Like most people not gonna fold their arms and get it, the position like you would if you're in a casket. So yeah, that's kind of off.
You, baby.
I think she was probably trying to keep herself warm in her last minutes of life.
But
It's
you
just the
not
body's response, Sometimes when I'm cold, I'll put my hands inside my shirt.
but you're not taking your clothes off.
But that's why I was just using that analogy because something I used to do, because I'm anemic. So when I get cold to my bones. So what I'll do is I'll take my arms out of the sleeves of my shirt and I'll put my arms inside of my shirt. So my arms are no longer in the sleeve. And that's just a natural thing to do because sometimes when you cold, right? You just want to make it go away, especially somebody like me. I'm anemic. So my cold is different. It goes down to my bone. So for her trying to take her clothes off, she could have just been trying to ball up inside of her clothes.
Miss Chriselle, Miss Adventures.
Yeah, she may have probably tried to keep warm and just being in the mind state that she was in. If she wasn't, and I'm just saying what's on black and white, a known drug user, I'm sorry, there's no telling like what she was going through or what like, what type of effect that was having on her and the things that was going through her minds or her actions. So I would say one, yeah, she probably was cold. Then two, she was probably doing other stuff like tripping out. You know what I'm saying? Like taking prescription drugs is Yeah, it's a different kind of experience, I would imagine.
It's not.
I have to go with staged. I just really feel like it was staged.
Go ahead, DC.
I would say, shit. I would say somebody. I would have to say both, cause from, and I'm only saying because she was also, whoever put her in there. It was also said that she was fighting for her life as well. So, um, I'm kind of in between. I really can't say
You can't
because
please.
I forgot how she ended up in that position, but I do know that Freezer was told, and she was told. But I do also know I heard they had also said whoever had put her in it, she was trying to fight them to get them off of
The
her. She woke up.
bruises,
She
DC. Remember?
what you say, baby?
Remember? I said, remember the bruises. Remember they said they
Yeah,
found bruises on
yeah.
her.
They found bruises on her and stuff, and her clothes was ripped as well.
Go ahead, Ty.
So
I think it was staged. I think it was staged, and I also think that the person that told her to come down there is the person that put her in there.
Ripped and just shoveled is two different things, Chosen. Go ahead, baddest.
I think it was staged too. I feel like the last person who possibly saw her alive probably tried to put her clothes back on her and the damn word. I feel like that's where that part came in. But as far as like her arms already being crossed, I feel like that played a part of her just trying to keep warm. I don't know. I feel like it was a little bit of both.
My thing is this. Is there anything to prove in this that Kenneka didn't go in that freezer and slip and fall, and that's the position that she fell in? Because I feel like it's
Armani,
my
I'll send you
theory.
the pictures of her. I got pictures of her in that freezer. I'll send them to you.
Oh, I seen
I
the
don't know.
picture too. But I'm saying
Okay.
myself that like me just trying to give like a benefit of the doubt to the situation. Like, is there anything to prove that she didn't slip and was unconscious and that was the position that she was in? I'm just because it's for me. Um, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think yes, she was trying to keep herself warm, but I think somebody definitely saw Kanika before they reported her missing or reported that her body was in there. Um, I definitely think it may have been a little bit of altering with her. Um, I also want to know, was there another entrance to the kitchen? Because a lot of people have said that as well. There was another entrance to the kitchen that people was able to come through. So if that was the case and that was off camera because we didn't see that on camera, did that entrance have access to the freezer? That also didn't have a camera. So I still got many questions about this.
The answer to the question, it was staged.
Okay. Well,
So we know for a fact.
what?
Bitch.
No. Mm-mm. That's just opinions that we're giving
That
us.
was this Cushell opinion on it.
Yeah, they just said that they said that her cause of passing was hypothermia. Um, but they did know what she had in her system too. So, um, but I mean, for me, the odd part about that is like I get it, putting your arms in your shirt, and maybe even putting them in your pants if you're trying to keep warm. But like, I don't disheveled and trying to keep warm is two different things. Because I mean, even when you put in your hands in your shirt, that don't necessarily mean that you just you leaving your clothes disheveled. You know what I'm saying? If she's cold and she's taking her arms out of her shirt and her skin is exposed and she's cold, that would lead me to believe that she would have fixed her shirt because I'm cold, so I gotta stay warm. So I don't know. I don't know. I can't connect the dots. I'm just trying to make it make sense for me. Um. So this is the question that I have. Why why do you think there was no footage of anybody discovering her? Why was that footage not released? Why do you feel it? What are your thoughts on that, Tania? What that's it? Because I need if you could send me that chosen. Tania, what's your thoughts on that? Q baby.
I don't think the footage exists because if we have footage of people discovering her, then we would also have footage of whoever put her there. I don't believe, like I said in the very beginning, I don't think she walked in there on her own accord. And if she did, I don't think she was in there by herself. So I think that's when the altering came. Of course, we don't know when she was discovered. There's no aha moment because then there would be more questions.
Miss Rochelle.
What was the question again, Armani? I'm sorry.
Why was there no footage of them discovering her?
I think the hotel was scared. I think the hotel, I think it was footage, but the hotel didn't want to put it out there because they knew that it was negligence on their part, and also too, it was they know something, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to tell it because she was be okay, and that's another black person unsolved mysteries. It's kind of funny that to whereas when it comes down to black people, everybody want to be kept quiet or whatever. But if it was a different nationality, they'll be singing to the mountaintops, and I'm done with that.
Miss Adventures.
Well, I don't think. I mean, going with the point that I made earlier about how I don't see a problem with the cameras not being in front of the freezer. It would only be right for me to say that I don't think they have it, due to the fact that aren't any cameras directed in that way. So yeah, I just think they don't have it because there weren't any cameras there.
Miss Ma.
Because of foul play. Yep. But from reading the comments, someone said that it is some footage of it or what have you. But I think a lot of things that was missing because of foul play having to do with that reputation of that hotel.
Um, it to me, I think it was footage. It just somehow they was trying to hold it and not get in trouble. It was footage.
Baddest.
Background right now.
Well, that's my case analysis on the Kenneka Jenkins case. Um,
You said something about her other friend is unalive as well.
we have one of her friends that passed away. Yeah,
What happened to her?
that's that's a whole nother thing.
Chosen said he sent you something, Armani.
But yeah, my case comparison is at 6 o'clock. This was my case analysis for the day. I usually do one every day. Um, so at 6, I have my case comparison.
6
Where
Eastern.
6 Eastern. where I compare two criminal cases. And we chat about the details of those. If you're somebody that's in here and you like Squid Games, I have my own format of Squid Games called The Gauntlet that I'm going to be starting this week. I'm going to be opening the door for that, and I'll be on live talking about the details of that tomorrow. There'll be a big prize at the end, just like Squid Games, for the last person standing. My challenges will take place every Sunday, and if you don't enter within the first 2 weeks, you won't be able to enter. If you come in a week late, in order for you to get to the third challenge, you must complete the challenges that you missed. So, with all being said, I'll be here back at 6. And then, of course, we have Armani After Dark at 9. So, meet me back here. We're doing a lot over here. Thank y'all for coming. And I'll talk to y'all at 6. If you want to find this, it'll be on YouTube.
Okay, love.
All right.